With me is NRSC Director V.K. Dadwal. On this occasion of GNSS Meet, ISRO's inception, it has been working for the development of this country. How do you see the space program of ISRO evolve in the field of national development?
The ISRO, from the founding fathers, the vision was to use it for the development. Use high technology to leapfrog from the current state to the equal to the most advanced. So one of the earliest applications which were done were on communication, the sight and step experiment, which went to villages. So ISRO was also involved in developing the INSAT system, which was basically communication and meteorology. Later on, from 1988, we have the remote sensing INS component. So what is exciting now is with the Gagan, the navigation part of the space technology, which has become a bigger application and is touching everybody's life much more or equivalent to the communication and remote sensing. So this third arm is now totally indigenous, which will have a very great impact on many large number of services in the country.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been stressing a lot on use of space technology. He has also guided and requested all his ministries to use space technology. Which are the new areas that ISRO can focus on now?
It is not a question of new areas. We had a very successful meeting in Delhi and Vigyan Bhavan on 7th September. There have been in ministries, there have been organizations which have their own units or which have been very proactively in adopting space technology. There are organizations which have a role, but they have not gone so much ahead. So what this meeting of 7th September did was, because coming from the PM, now each ministry has identified specific project, and it was also presented by chairman in the plenary session that we have identified 170 projects which have relevance to governance and or citizens. And each of them, what we will do is at least one project, some significant progress the PM expects that we do in the next coming 3 to 6 months. So we are working with each ministry or department, and we have from very simple to complicated, all range of applications which range from like building an asset, geospatial, or providing them the natural resource data, or even doing a real-time application or decision support, or deciding where to put a structure, or when the structures are put, even monitor the progress. So they are in this entire gamut of the range of geospatial application. But more importantly, each department has identified a project, and we will be ensuring that a good start and progress is done in each of these projects.
Talking about the ministry, especially Railway Ministry has lined up ISRO to enhance their efficiency and safety measures. They are also going to sign an MOU. How do you think that ISRO can help railways?
With railways, now there are 3 areas. The first one is, rail system is spread all across the country, and they have huge assets in terms of along the rail tracks itself. There are a large number of assets. So the rail asset system, geospatial, is the one which will be done. The second application, which is very important, is that there are many crossings which are unmanned. Now these unmanned crossings are cause of sometimes unfortunate accidents. So space technology like Gagan, which will be because we know the exact locations and we know the current position of the engine or the driver, we are trying to work with the railways on how to develop a warning system which is automated for unmanned crossing. The third important application is for which is a geofencing application, so that people can buy on their mobile tickets. So there what you have to ensure is people on the train do not buy a mobile ticket. So what you have to do is you have to exclude along the track some set of meters. So if you are outside that, you can buy a ticket. If you are inside, not. So like this, there are a range of applications which we are discussing with the railways.
You talk of imageries and all to maintain their assets, but we can't provide imageries on the real-time basis. There are foreign players who provide imageries on the real-time basis. So are you planning to line up those foreign players also to help railways?
We use as much resources as we have, and wherever there are gaps, we will of course source it from the other players. So the idea is not who is providing the technology. The idea is the geospatial technology is used for effective governance and citizen application. As far as the question of the imagery comes, we have from next year onwards a set of high resolution satellites lined by ISRO. So as more and more of the satellites will come, we will again be self-reliant on the high resolution data.
You are saying that ISRO is now open to explore the foreign, foreign space.
No, it is not. ISRO is very much open to foreign. We have had the foreign collaboration like Megatropics and Saral Altica are two projects done together with CANES. On our Chandrayaan, we had a range of instruments put by foreign agencies. NISR is being built by NASA and ISRO. So ISRO is an open organization. It always, even in earlier era, past decade, wherever there have been requirement of high resolution data, through NRSC, we have been getting it for the users. So it is not something new. The purpose of these applications is to ensure that user has access and is able to properly utilize what geospatial services.
But you have the hardware, sir. Do you also have the software to track the movement of trains? Like how do a train driver use?
Okay, as far as software is concerned, you should not doubt about the India's capabilities. We are a software powerhouse, but you would have seen that we have a application geo platform, which is Bhuvan, which has a range of near real time to fast to establish data sets for a range of application. Satellite does not track the train. The Gagan tells where the train is. There is already a map which says when the next crossing will come. Now, when you are within a specific distance, which is like a spatial decision, then you activate a hooter light or a warning system. So it is not real-time imaging. It is a geospatial application of positioning with a response.
How modern are these maps?
These maps are updated regularly. Because you have satellites which cross over. So finally, when you use the satellite data itself as a base map, it is like when the last picture was taken. And once you make the map, we regularly go on updating the maps also.
By when can we see that railway is fully equipped with all ISRO's help? We'll see less amount of accidents because of natural calamities.
See, I'm sure railways has very large safety mechanisms, but accidents happen due to various causes. So it depends upon what has caused. Like if it is a weather-based, it will be very difficult unless you stop in that area. Forewarning can be done. So it is very difficult to answer in a generic way. But I'm sure the railways is doing all what it needs to do for the safety. See, the unmanned crossing, as I said, you need to know the location of the train, and already on the map you know where the unmanned crossings are. So when the train reaches a specific distance from that unmanned coming crossing, you have various type of devices which will be activated. Now it will depend, the rollout plan will depend upon how the discussions further and the trials, how they work out between the engineering teams of railways and ISRO.
PM Modi applauded ISRO and NRSC for doing a commendable job Jammu and Kashmir floods and during Uttarakhand.
One point which he mentioned, which I think got missed, was that there was a landslide in Phuktal in Jammu Kashmir, which actually at that time in January was frozen. So we really didn't know how much water is there. So we continuously monitored it, and then our NDRF and military and other relevant agencies went and created a path when the water melted to move out. So in the sense, not only we have been involved in forewarning or post-damage assessment. We were also played a very small role through information gathering in preventing a disaster. So he was applauding that effort because it didn't get noticed by anybody. Sankoshi River, there was a big landslide. It happened in Nepal. So high resolution satellite data was used to determine the size of the landslide and the length of the blockage. Plus what we did was we used satellite data to see on the backside upstream how much water is accumulating. So it is like a watch to ensure that the dangerous amount of water, whether it has accumulated or if it has accumulated, support it with the imagery, geospatial data, so that on ground effective actions.
But we don't have the software, sir. We have the hardware. You are providing the hardware. We don't have the software to use Gagan.
No, software is there. It's not like that. The software, basically software gets developed for a purpose. So Gagan, when gives you location, so specialized software will be written for each application. That location will be converted into decision in that context. So I don't think you should not assume that there is no software.
Dr. Dadwal, thanks a lot for speaking to ZeoBiz.
Thank you, Amit. It's a pleasure talking.